Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Sage Smith, who was a transgender woman, also known as Dashad and Unique, 19 years old, and disappeared on November 20th of 2012. Now, she disappeared along Route 29, and the article on Route 29 says the following. Route 29 is a United States federal highway that stretches from Pensacola, Florida to Silver Spring, Maryland. It was originally constructed in October 1925. There's been an unusually high number of cases involving young women disappearing along Route 29, or an area known as the Route 29 corridor. 5 young women disappeared in 5 years between 2009 and 2014, earning it a particularly notorious reputation. Now, the next bit talks about Richard Mark Ivanetz, who was a serial killer in the area, active from 1996 to 2002. But when I look at the part about Sage Smith, they actually mention somebody else. Let me read that part first. Sage Smith, also known as Dashad and Unique, was a 19-year-old transgender woman last seen in Charlottesville on November 20th of 2012, waiting for a date very close to the location where Alexis Murphy's abandoned car was found in August 2013. Sage Smith's case went cold and remains unsolved. Eric McFadden remains a missing person of interest in the case. And there's no link to his article. The only Eric McFadden I can find on Wikipedia is a guitarist, and that's not the same person. But I do have an article on another website that's from 2019 that speaks about him going missing, and it reads, Charlottesville police have asked people around the country to be on the lookout for Eric McFadden. McFadden's mother recently filed a missing persons report on her 28-year-old son, who has not been seen since 2012. So it took 7 years before they actually reported it, apparently, or 7 years for them to report on it. McFadden, police believe, has information about the 2012 disappearance of a 19-year-old Dashad Sage Smith. Smith's missing person case was reclassified as a homicide in 2016. A Charlottesville police detective briefly made contact with McFadden immediately following Smith's disappearance, but he failed to show up for a scheduled interview with police and reportedly left town, a Charlottesville police spokesman said. McFadden has not been seen or heard from by Charlottesville police, or even by members of McFadden's family since that time. McFadden and Smith were scheduled to meet the night Smith disappeared, according to police. So that is very suspicious, but neither him or Sage has been seen or heard from since then. And that is why I was asked to look at this case with the tarot. We're going to do that today. We're going to start off with the Vice Versa deck, which is the one currently on the table. And for any further questions, I'm going to move on to the Hush Tarot deck, which is this one. As per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck. As soon as I have about a screen full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we're starting off with the back of the Lovers card, which kind of reminds me of the Devil card because of all the fire here and the way they kind of seem to be stuck in between two things, but it really is the Lovers card, as you can see right here. From the back, it just looks a bit more sinister, and normally the Lovers would be either you're making a connection to somebody or something, and this almost seems like a connection to something that may not be entirely wholesome. I'm not entirely sure what exactly we're going to be seeing, but we also have here the Ace of Wands, which is an initiative and possibly a very sudden idea or thing that they wanted to do. And we're talking about Sage here. And next we have the Nine of Wands, which is kind of like being tired of a certain situation, kind of being tired, I think, of the same old. I feel it's also in reverse, and I think it's something that they've been working on or have had for some time, this type of wariness. It kind of comes across a little bit like being kind of stuck in a rut relationship wise, like you're kind of trying to find somebody or something to connect to, and it's not really going very well. At least you keep trying. That's what this wand ace is trying to say. They keep trying new things. Also, the Ace of Cups is over here as well, so that is also a relationship or an emotional type of initiative that they're trying to take. I think we need to see these four together. Like, they're just kind of tired of being stuck by themselves possibly, or being ignored or shunned maybe, and they're just looking for something new, and they're trying to take some initiatives in order to make that happen as well with this Ace of Cups. Just looking for a new venue that they can perhaps go down in order to get some attention, some connection with somebody, and some love as well with this Cup card. And they're pretty hopeful about that, because we see here very sunny environment, the doves flying. It looks like a really pretty statue. It kind of looks like, this kind of looks like, it reminds me of how some people make themselves appear on a dating profile, that type of thing. Like, you really show your best side and all the good stuff that's happening in your life, all the good pictures, that type of thing. Like, this is the outward show of, hey, look at me, you want to hang out with me because I'm really good, I'm radiant, and all that sort of thing. The next card we see though is the reversed and backside of the moon, so things are being hidden, and this could be, since we are also seeing here a King of Wands, and this could represent a dating profile of Sage, and this might be the dating profile of a person that you might be interested in. And in between we have this moon phase here, or a moon card. I'm thinking that maybe there was a connection made, and they're both kind of looking at the best side of each other, and things are just being hidden with this moon. Like, things are just obscured, so they may have thought that they were interacting with somebody who turned out to be somebody very differently. And definitely the card on the end here, the Three of Swords, seems to suggest that as well. Like, maybe she got in touch with somebody whom pretended to be single on a dating website or an app. Nobody really goes to the website anymore these days. So maybe on an app they found somebody whom they thought was great, and perhaps there was something else in the background that they were also not telling. And I think on both sides there were things that they're not telling each other, which may have led to some situations in which were surprises, and not in a good way. Of course, the swords do represent words and thoughts, so perhaps they both spoke lies, perhaps, or mistruths, half-truths, that sort of thing. So I'm thinking that we're setting up a date here, and we're not quite honest with each other. This goes both ways, and they're not really just showing the real them, which is kind of common, of course, on any type of dating app, that you present the best side of yourself because you want to draw people in and not scare them off with whatever else is going on with your life. That's supposed to be coming later, basically, when you've met them a couple times. But yeah, we're looking at this situation where she's just kind of tired of being alone, and she's looking for a new connection. She finds a King of Wands, and neither of them is entirely truthful about their own situation. But okay, so far that doesn't have to be an issue. Next though, we see here the Four of Cups in reverse and backwards, followed by the Fool, and with the same cup at his feet as well. And the Two of Cups in reverse with the Ace in the background. Very interesting, this combination right here. So Four of Cups is usually like not really being able to make any choices, not really liking any of your choices, but I'm thinking also that choices are being left in the dust. You can see that the ship is sailing in the background, and they're just not willing to make a choice, or they're ignoring choices that they have, options that they have. They're ignoring feelings. This may be the intuition kind of nagging in the back of your mind, like, I don't know if this is such a good idea, maybe this isn't such a great person, maybe I should have said this, maybe they should have told me that before I go and meet them. But we do next see the Fool here, And like I said, there's a cup at their feet, so this is also kind of like pointing back towards the Four of Cups there, like they're ignoring that intuition and they're just kind of going off into the wild and just assuming that the best thing is going to happen, because the Fool just kind of lets the universe take him where it wants him to go and just assumes that everything is going to be fine. They have complete confidence that everything is going to be great, even though they're about to step off this cliff, like the leap of faith that they're taking here while ignoring the instinct in the background. Then we have a meeting here, and like I said, we have here the Ace of Cups in the background. So this is basically the meeting that happens as a result of the Ace of Cups maneuver up there, the moves that they made in order to secure this meeting. And we're in reverse, so I'm feeling like this meeting is still not quite what they had envisioned. They may have initially tried to really like show their best side, to just kind of get through it and maybe get to a positive result, but there's already some trouble here being shown in the background. They're trying very hard to make things go well, but we're seeing a bit of an issue. Also, the snakes over there, they're entwined, so it's supposed to mean like we're coming together in a way, we're twining our fates or our beliefs together. At least that's the goal, but it may also end up biting her. Next we have a surprise, and it's a practical surprise with this Page of Pentacles with a Six of Cups in reverse and backwards, and the Four of Swords. Okay, Five Cups in reverse. This entire line seems to me like something comes up and there's a callback to something that happened in the past, and it's not a good memory, and that they're just kind of like trying to shove that away. They don't want to talk about it because we have the Four of Swords, which is usually like taking a break, maybe also stepping away, stepping out of a certain situation. Stuff is burning in the background over there. And then we have the Five of Cups in reverse, which is like not really seeing what you still have left, but it's also backwards. So not only are we ignoring the other options, we're just focusing very much on what we lost. And there's something coming out of the cup. Let me take a look what that is. Oh, there's a scorpion coming out. Can you see that? There's a scorpion coming out of that cup right there. So there's like a hidden stinger there, and we're really focusing on that. And I'm thinking something probably came up in this date for either Sage or whomever she was meeting. Could be Eric, I don't know. It doesn't really say names, of course, the tarot, but something really came up that really left a sting, and they were not able to let that go. Now Sage was or is, depending on whether she's still out there, of course, a transgender woman, so maybe her date was not aware of this, and that may have been part of this moon phase over here. And what you often see in those situations is that the person that they're meeting can't get over that part, like they may have felt cheated about that part. Let's see what we can get from the Hush Tarot about what happens next. Nope, this one. The Two of Pentacles. All right, so we're trying to kind of bargain a little bit. Oh, look at this. We're trying to bargain. We're trying to balance things out. But if you look carefully, the bird has a pin or a ring in its beak with a pin on it. And if you look underneath, the pin comes from the grenade. So I'm thinking like they're trying to balance things out. They're trying to work things out. But the problem's already been caused, and there's going to be an explosive result as a result of that, because we know what happens when you pull the pin out of something like that. But they're trying to balance things out. And then we have the Tower here. So this is definitely the grenade exploding. So this is the result of the sting from the scorpion over here, leading to a tower event. So I think there really was an aggressive reaction, something that Sage was not expecting. Like maybe she expected some dismay with this other person, but they really had a very violent reaction, or at least a reaction that really changed everything for them. And then we have here the High Priestess. So we are trying to use our intuition. So maybe they are now trying to deal with this with their instincts, and possibly trying to get out of this situation, and maybe trying to placate the other person, and trying to, I guess, foresee what will happen next. Like this person on the card is listening to a little birdie, like the expression goes, a little birdie told me this or that. So maybe they're trying to now get out of this situation by possibly listening more to their intuition. Things are moving really fast though, because we have the Chariot here and we have the Fool as well. Okay, so again, we're trying to be led by the universe and we're trying to move very quickly. So this kind of looks like a running away, but not really having a goal, just kind of like trusting that things will go well and trying to find a path with the intuition, like running down places or trying to flag stuff down or whatever comes up next. Basically just running around trying to get away, create some distance, and without actually having a goal or an idea of where they are. They may have gone to a place where she was not entirely familiar, or at least not near anything or anyone that she could call on quickly, but kind of just trying to get her way out of there in some intuitive fashion, it seems as though. Maybe also just kind of trying to move along with whatever comes her way, like whatever wind is blowing, just trying to set your sails to go with that, and then hoping that that will lead to a positive result. Let's see what else we can find next. So currently they're kind of like, whoop, that one went on the floor. The word bargaining comes to mind, like as I was shuffling the card, just trying to get some type of deal struck maybe. But the card that fell on the floor was the Two of Swords, and it's in reverse. So there is a single-minded focus in this moment, and it may be from them. I'm just looking at this. I think it's a mask, but it really does look like somebody who is wide-eyed and no longer living. And so this may be the single-minded focus of the person that they're with, that they just cannot bear to look at them anymore. And this may be the part where they decided that they, well, maybe not decided, but they acted in a way that led to, wouldn't necessarily say her demise, but it kind of looks like that. Like the mask really looks like a lifeless person. So they may have acted out violently, and whatever pleading she did to try and get them to calm down, whatever bargaining she did not actually lead to a positive result. This card wanted to fall, but kind of didn't, but I'll take it anyway. The Star. Alright, so now we have lights shine on them. And the card says, "A hunting we will go." And I often see the star as a light being shown on the person, and I really feel like in this case, since we are also looking at a skull underneath there, that's kind of hidden but also kind of not, that this may be the person, the perpetrator, feeling like there's now a light shining on them because there is a skeleton in their closet and somewhere else as well, and they feel like they're being hunted. So this probably is them feeling like people are coming for them, like the Telltale Heart. If you don't know that poem, it's kind of like about this person who has committed a crime, and they are so convinced that everybody can hear their heartbeats going faster and faster that the heart's basically telling everybody around them, like, oh, he did it. Like, they are convinced that that is giving them away. It kind of feels like that. We have here a Knight of Pentacles. So this card is kind of like saying that this person took they took some time to prepare. So they feel like they're being watched and they're being hunted, but they're not acting too rashly. At least they are preparing probably for some type of defense or whatever it is, but they're being very practical in this point. I feel like this is after the meeting, so this is probably not the same day. All right, we have 3 cards here, I think. Yep. And the World. Yeah, we are preparing to hide ourselves because the world is in reverse. I tend to see that as being hidden from the world. We have here the 10 of Wands in reverse, so we're very tired, but we can't give up now. It's something, a burden that we cannot let go of. But also the 8 of Wands. Oh yeah, that's like no communication in this case. Eight of Wands is normally like communication or a lot of movement, but it's in reverse. So I feel like they're hiding themselves from the world. They're going no contact, and they are unable to let go as well because of this Ten of Wands, which is usually like a weariness type of card. So I feel like they are now hiding after this. So far we see that there was a meeting and there was a sting in the meeting that they were unable to handle, and their reaction was to act violently, after which they decided that they needed to get the heck out of Dodge and therefore went no contact and disappeared from the world. Now, can we see if we're ever going to find the perpetrator, bring them to justice? Are we ever going to learn exactly what happened? Let's see what we can get from that. Whoop. That one's on the floor. Judgment in reverse, and the back side of it as well. Normally it would be, no, this is actually the back side. This is the front side. All right, so it's reversed judgments. I'm thinking that means postponing of judgments. They're probably not going to be judged anytime soon. They may be judging themselves, but I don't think the justice system is going to be able to get a hold of them anytime soon. We have the back and the reverse of the world. Again, the world. Yeah. So they're very successful in keeping themselves hidden, and I think that they're out there and people are in contact with them, but they have no idea who this person is. They have no idea about their past, and they've probably also given themselves a whole new past to go with that. So they've really gone undercover, it seems as though. Are we ever going to find them though? Eight of Wands, but this time it's upright. So there may be some communication incoming after all. This might mean that they might eventually try to reach out in some way to the people of their past or actual past. And possibly this will be coming out of the blue, because you see that lightning strike over there. Like suddenly there'll be a message and people over there will be like, where the heck did this come from? And is this really the right person? There'll be a lot of movement, confusion perhaps. And what will be the result of that? Okay, the Hermits. Backside and reversed. This kind of looks like the moon is looking at them, and I'm looking at this golden egg at their feet as well. There's some light shining on them. I'm thinking this is people being silent about the communications that they are having with them, like they're trying to hide them in their new place and new identity. So it could be that the people that he reaches out to, or she, I think it's a he, they will not contact anybody else further. Like suddenly they have a message from them and they're like, oh, we better not talk about this, but we are going to keep in touch, like that type of thing. So they might be trying to shield them. What else can we learn about this situation? Whoops. Whoopsie. Hang on, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. The Empress. No, it's the Queen of Cups in reverse and backwards. And we have here the Three of Pentacles working together. So I'm thinking this is more of people just coming together to hide them. Ten of Swords in reverse. That is looking at, this really looks like they're looking at this empty shell basically that's been stabbed, and the person's just kind of sitting there looking at it, looking kind of glum, and it kind of feels like a show. And by which I mean, like, they're working together, as you can see here, and this Queen of Cups over here is facing the other way, which is usually like ignoring people. Also, they're in reverse, so they could be emotionally manipulative, and then combined with this Three of Pentacles and this Ten of Swords, where they're kind of like putting on a show. I feel like they're pretending. They're going to keep pretending that they're sad about something, probably sad about them being missing, because of course they are still pretending that this person is out there. What do we have here? We've got 3 cards. We have, this is Temperance in reverse, so we're not very well even tempered. We have the 5 of Swords. There is some verbal struggle, and we have the Magician in reverse, which is somebody just not being able to realize the things that they want to accomplish. So this is kind of like them not feeling very good about it either, but they're continuing to put on this show, I guess, because they do have a relationship there, and they are more loyal to that than to whatever else may be playing in the background, whatever justice may need to be meted out. But it looks as though there is some arguing back and forth. Like, there is definitely some arguing back and forth between them and the person that they're communicating with. There's some tempers flaring every once in a while. There's some words being spoken, but they're not really reaching anything, not getting anywhere with them. Like, they're maybe trying to convince them, like, okay, you know what, maybe you're saying, like, it's been a long time, why don't you come back? I'm pretty sure it's okay now, should be all right. But they're just not getting anywhere with them because they are stubbornly holding on to their convictions. As you can see, they just can't get forwards or backwards. They can't get him back into the castle, which is on the hill in the background as well. So I feel like there are people in communication with the perpetrator, and they're just not able to talk about it. They're also willingly not talking about it, but they're trying to perhaps convince the perpetrator to come back. They might not even really be aware that they are a perpetrator. They may just be wondering, like, why are you out there? And they may have been told a story that they are now believing because they have nothing else to go on. But they can't get him to come back either. Maybe a final few cards, like, are we ever going to see them? Are they ever going to finally get them to come out and come clean? What's this? 10 of Swords again. So we're still feeling pretty bad about things. They might come forward themselves at some point, but I feel that this is more of a beating themselves up over it internally, because they're feeling very bad about themselves, I think. Of course, the Swords are like thoughts and words. I think they have a lot of negative self-talk. Doesn't show them actually moving as a result of that, so I feel like they're just constantly reminding themselves of what happened back then, but they're also not taking any action to make things right. So they're kind of like stuck in this I need to stay hidden over here, I don't want to be judged, but I'm also not, I'm judging myself basically in my own private little world there with my new existence. So I don't think we're going to see the perpetrator coming up anytime soon. It kind of does point towards them still being out there, though, and beating themselves up over it. But of course, that's not quite what everybody wants. They want them to come clean and at least reveal themselves and reveal what happened to Sage Smith, but they're probably not going to do that anytime soon. Maybe I kind of see this as perhaps when they're like old and gray and they feel like the crime has aged to the point where they probably couldn't be put in jail over it anymore. I don't know if this type of crime actually ages and becomes something that you can't be judged over anymore. I think certain crimes are like perpetual. Not really sure what the term for that is, but in any case, I think they might be waiting for a time where they think it's clear and they can come back, but until then they're going to stay hidden, and they're going to be very good at it, even though there will be some trail of communication possibly with their family or friends from their old life. So that is what I'm seeing for Sage Smith and her perpetrator. I hope you found that interesting. Hope you'll leave a like and a comment. That really helps the channel along. If you would like to subscribe, that would also be very much appreciated. I also hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.